We are between two teeth. We are between two teeth. Who are you?
B2 Teeth in the house. I'm Steffi Stuff.
I am Bobby.
And what were we talking about today, Bobby?
Well, I figured we'd talk about
Can I pause you right there? I'm going to cut you off already, right? 30 seconds in, not even.
Wow.
Is that a journal?
This is a journal. Yes, it is.
Man, I love that. I actually love journaling and writing. It's part of the ways that I decrease stress. And I'm telling you what, I listened to somebody who was talking about how we get stress out of our bodies, and one of the ways was kind of writing it down, talking.
And I got to tell you, I don't like to journal at all.
That's a pretty impressive journal for someone who doesn't like to journal.
So there's a lot of empty pages here. and my first question, and it kind of segues in nicely of trying to figure out our why. Why do we do this?
Oh, I love talking about why right now.
Personally, for me, it is my way of doing some type of journaling. So for you, what's your why for part of Between Two Teeth doing a YouTube channel and Instagram #2 teeth, shameless plug? Why do you do this?
So I have a kind of a stock answer for this, and so I'll give you the stock answer, but then I'll give you the real answer.
No, don't do stock answer. Just go give us the real answer. I don't want the stock answer.
So the three words, and Brene Brown talked about values. And I'm gonna, if you're watching this recording in cameras, our live audience is right here, so I tend to speak to the living humans in the room.
Keep down the roar to all these live audience people.
They keep applauding at everything.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, and laugh.
So my why: connect, discover, inspire. I did not. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something to say?
And it sounds good, and I know.
Does it sound good? Is that why you cut me off so quickly?
No, but so it's really easy to say. Oh well, I want to connect, discover.
But when you say it like
inspire.
that, it sounds terrible.
But I know you spent time.
I spent a lot of time,
and I know
those
it's genuine.
words to kind of describe what was on the inside. The reason connection's so important for me, because I grew up in a household that wasn't necessarily based on connection. We were pull yourself up by your bootstraps, kind of buckle up, little soldier, and get it done on your own. Because that's how the world's going to treat you.
So why did you change?
I changed because I realized that the journey to the top of wherever you want to go, whatever you're trying to work towards, it's pretty lonely if you're kind of a lone wolf. I'm doing this myself. I want to be here. And I'm going to work day and night trying to get here. And I looked around and, man, I started to think, even if I got to this metaphorical top of the mountain or wherever I wanted to go.
You're there by yourself.
You're there by yourself. And what's worse is the entire journey you're taking by yourself.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You don't want that. I don't want that.
And then what about discovery?
So my discovery, this is a process.
You
so I'm
are
discovering,
a discoverer.
I'm a seeker, I think.
You are.
I also like Harry Potter, and the Seeker's like my favorite position on Quidditch. Not to be too
So
nerdy.
what have you learned through discovery?
What I've learned through discovery is that you have to have an open mind. Earlier,
You don't have to.
well, if you want to discover.
Okay.
And we were talking earlier today with Bob, and Bob does an improv kind of bringing in behavioral psychology. Great comments he made on delayed judgment. And I think part of discovery has to do with delaying your judgment, especially with people and ideas.
You got to be open to it. Try not to be against certain things.
Yes, exactly.
Unfortunately, life
I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in a very judgmental family.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me to break free of that.
There are subscribers, so we got to, lightly on that.
Well, when I say, I think everybody's family is kind of judgy in their own way. I don't know. I think that's a very authentic thing.
That's part of moving forward with your own journey to say, what has served me well in the past? What has not served me?
Yeah.
How can I go ahead and move in a good way moving forward?
Well, I've talked a little bit about my why.
I feel like this is an interview that I'm interviewing.
Let's transition to you. What's your why, Doc?
Thank you for saying that. We sort of co-opted your
Is co-opted a word, by the way?
I don't know.
What's
I
co-opted?
make it up. I grew
We're
up
going to take
in
a
Canada,
survey.
so I don't know.
Survey says no.
So we utilized yours, and we utilized that for our channel here.
Let's talk about your original why, the one you worked on through your Harvard
So my original why, there's something that
program.
I had to do. I did an executive fellowship program where a big part of that was figuring out your own why.
Figuring out your why.
I got to mine where my why, and I know I'd messed this up before, it's to push myself and others to fully live, laugh, and love. And I always loved live, laugh, and love. And quite frankly, I thought it was a little bit too superficial.
Okay,
You're going to pause me there?
I'm
Is that what
going
you're
to
gonna
push
say?
you here.
Oh, push.
You didn't think it was superficial. What'd you think it was?
Well,
And you were in
I
a
thought it was superficial.
classroom of a
I
lot
was
of military
so I was
guys,
in with a
men's
bunch of
men, kind of
Department
thing.
of Defense leaders, and I didn't feel like I was enough
When you're
with
around,
that.
yes, I remember you telling me you
It's like,
didn't feel like it was
live,
tough
laugh,
enough.
love. Oh, this
Yes.
chap that's on the
But
regulators
then
in
I told you,
Texas.
I was saying, man, you're the best thing about you, your genius is kind of wrapped up in living, laughing, and loving, and more so pushing
And
others
pushing
to
others.
do
And,
that.
and when you push others, you have to be prepared for rejection,
Yes.
them not listening to you. So that's kind of my
Yes.
why.
Love it.
Let's
Love
pivot
it,
a
love
little
it.
bit. Let's talk part of our why also for ourselves and for our YouTube channel Between Two Teeth is figuring out the pillars of health, figuring out
Are there pillars
longevity,
of health?
health span. There is,
Do we have,
and
like,
you and I
spheres of
disagree
health?
a little bit on this.
What about pebblestones of health? Is
No,
that good?
that's
No?
terrible. No, you
Are you
need
sure?
to have no. You need to have the pillars. The pillars hold up the table.
What are your pillars of health?
So you and I differ. You go with yours,
All right, I'll talk about mine if I must.
and I'll add in a couple.
Okay,
Go.
so for me, I was thinking on this. We've got for movement, stress management, nutrition, and sleep. I am an 8 hours a night kind of person.
You are.
I wish I could get by with 4 hours. I would have so many more opportunities in life.
You could do anything for a while, but most of us will have consequences. to
Roger
that.
Levin talked about being in balance, being out of balance, and honestly, what I wanted to touch on yesterday, but I'll bring it up now, is the balance of knowing, or maybe just the understanding of knowing when you are out of balance, when do you need to turn and come back to center. I don't want to say heart center, we're not doing yoga right now, but when do we need to come back to that center spot? Because you can only get 4 hours of sleep a night so many times.
For a
You
certain
can
period of
only
time.
have a bad diet for so long before it
Yes.
starts to have
Yes.
chronic health issues.
If you're not moving daily with exercise and
now,
stretching.
now, which ones would you add on here?
Well, and let me finish the thought of,
Yeah.
we had Dr. George Shepley on here a couple days ago, president-elect of the ADA, or he may be president now. I'm not sure.
I don't know, depending on when we're at in the House of Delegates.
But he talked about how yoga saved his practice life.
I was surprised by this one, and he said it. He's told it to us previously. He said it again to us. I've got the memory of a small squirrel.
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa, thank
Yeah.
you. So nice to meet you.
And so to get to the question that you asked of what are my two additional, you like to have 4 pillars. That's normally what holds up a table. I'm going to
Yeah,
throw
4
2
pillars
more
is
in.
great.
Part of this is because
efficient.
I'm on the state board in Texas here and see issues with substance abuse.
Right.
Alcohol, drugs,
And you
that's
see it
something
from
you've
the
got
other
to
side.
be careful with.
You see it. Yes, you see it.
You
You're
know,
reactionary.
There's
in that
all
process.
kinds of data out there, and reactionary, yes, but also trying to be proactive. And part of our
Totally
message that
understand
we're
that.
trying to get out here is you've got to be careful with alcohol and drug use. That can be a problem. My other pillar
sure.
that you don't have down and I do is social connections.
Right.
There's data out there that if you are isolated, that can have longevity impacts and health span impacts very similar to smoking if you
I couldn't
lack
agree more.
social connection. And so that's why I love this meeting here. The American Dental Association, props to them for putting on meetings like this to get people back into session here, to get out and connect and do something like this with Podcast Center. Can you believe Between Two Teeth, literally we just started this 6 months ago, and now we're literally at the podcast and influencer hub.
I can't believe this.
the
And not
AD.
only we're here, we have audience.
trying to pinch
Oh, I'm
you.
like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to pinch you to see
Stop
if
it.
it's just a dream. Is that a pinch?
Where's
That's
Kate?
what I do. Yeah.
Where's Kate? Help
I'm
me, Kate.
pitching. I'm
Help me,
pitching
Kate.
her. Hey, you're supposed to say,
Well, not only
pitch
we're
me.
at SmileCon right now, where we're starting to rebuild the hype, the in-person attendance.
Right.
And this is what what this group has done is created a platform, a space
Yes,
where podcasters,
yes.
YouTubers can come
it
to
took,
unite.
It took
and share
ADA
this-
member
their
Dennis that were in the
ideas.
leadership to say, we need to have something like this
Yeah.
happen. It took ADA staff like Kate, who's taken such great care of us this
Shout
week.
out, Kate.
We've been a little bit of a challenge I've been a little bit of a challenge for Kate, but
Well, if you just mix the desserts, man, like that's all we were. Thank you.
that's one of the worst
asking.
things
That's all
I've
we
ever
were
heard
asking.
in my entire life. Like cobbler
Compote, strawberry compote. That's all I'm saying.
and lime. key lime
Anyways,
pie. Anyways.
so I like your connection piece. I think connection is the basis for
social connection.
relationships and just
Really,
well-being in
really
general
bad things happen
when you're isolated.
when you're isolated.
Humans are people, which means they are social beings. And sometimes you have humans that need one person and they're good, but they
Right.
need that interaction.
Figuring out what you need. We had a
Yes.
dentist who was going through a bit of a tricky time with cancer and chemotherapy. We didn't know her that well. She actually reached out to you and said, I got to tell you, between two teeth
That was
helped
powerful.
get me through
I
my
thought she
cancer
was going to come talk
treatments."
about a patient. And, sometimes I thought there was going to be like a miscommunication with
it-
the patient. And I was like, oh no, here we
And
go.
it helped
And she-
her not feel isolated on a very isolating journey that she had.
it was nice of her, and it was a pleasant surprise that she shared what an impact that our small show has made to her in her life.
Absolutely changed today, because
Yeah.
we all get caught up in how many likes do we have, how many views do we have, how many subscribers do we have.
And it's
we have
not
like
about
4
that.
or 5 subscribers, but
I think we
we
got
don't
like
let that
6
bother you.
now
Oh,
after the
6.
show.
Oh, maybe. Yes,
I think
YouTube.
we're
Yeah.
increasing subscribers.
And that pivots into the question of what inspires us. What inspires you, Steph?
What inspires me is that, well, right in this moment, is that we have people in our audience, and you
Oh,
guys are
we
super
do.
supportive.
Got some
And
of our
I,
biggest
I
fans
like
here.
that because, man, one of the things I've noticed at these meetings, I meet a lot of dentists, and then you meet their spouses. And the spouses are the untold stories of these conferences. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight, Jen, part of the TDA Smiles Foundation, she became an honorary member of the International College of Dentists.
That is right.
We need more of those stories, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
It takes so many people, and what I have said, like for instance, when we talked to some of the leaders here that made the podcast center happen at this meeting, they were very quick to say, no, it's the staff that's doing this, or no, it
Team.
was support at the ADA trustee level. It takes so many people to make a great thing happen.
Growing up for me, and I know we got a lot to talk about here, growing up for me, and I had this conversation with Rita Camerata a couple nights ago, was that I didn't understand my mother very well. She gave up she was an accountant, but when I came along, she stopped being that so she could support my brother and I at home. And I didn't understand the significance of that really till a few years ago. And for me, it really had me appreciate the spouses of dentists that show up. And the dentist at an event like this is always in the limelight. But what they don't talk about is the reason that dentist has a family at home. The reason that dentist is supported when they've had a bad day at the office, they go home, they talk to their spouse. Their kids are having a problem, their spouse picks up the kids. Those are the untold stories. And I would not have appreciated that. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Gabby, please.
Gabby Dizon.
This is Gabby Dizon, everyone.
Yep,
Dr.
yep.
Dizon coming up. Now, are you a Pierre Fichard
Yes.
inductee tonight? We have to see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming on up.
You can walk on along the back
Please,
there.
we have to.
And
Yes,
and we're
Gabby,
gonna pivot.
Come on, I have not seen this gal. Gabby is one of the
Hi.
funniest humans
Oh,
in
that's
this
right.
whole wide world.
That's right.
We love it.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey there, how are you?
We're gonna have to get you in on the mic here. I'm gonna
Yep.
scooch my little. Oh, do we have one
Yeah.
right here? There we go.
Um,
Wow, fantastic.
Yes, we're going
Let's
to have Gabby on for just a quick second here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Those of you that don't know Dr. Dizon, she is about to be inducted today into Pierre Fichard. Am I saying that
Correct.
right? I don't know if I'm saying that
I
right.
think that's correct.
Is that correct? And Gabby, we're
Yeah.
going to get you a little closer to the mic.
Sure.
So we're talking about a bunch of things. We're in a conversation here. We're talking about what inspires
inspires us.
What inspires you?
And what inspires you, Gabby?
Inspires me about what, though?
Open-ended question. So I would say things like what inspires you to do what you do that kind of plays into your why. Why are you so gosh darn awesome to be around, funny, joyful? Gabby makes me laugh in every board meeting, and I love it. I really would not enjoy being on board meetings if it were not for
Well,
Gabby.
Stephanie, right back at you. So for y'all at home, just a little background info. Stephanie and I are on our local dental society's board, and anytime we have a meeting, they're like a round table kind of type thing. They have to separate us because
She's
we
not
have so much
wrong.
fun.
So much fun. So give us, and I know you're on your way to go do something. We don't want to keep you on here too long, but give us one fun fact about you and what's your why.
inspires me?
Yes.
So, fun fact about me. I don't know. I guess my favorite restoration is a crown prep on maybe like a lower first premolar.
Wow. Wow.
That is an interesting
Okay.
fact. There's a lot to unpack
There you
with
go.
that,
There
and
is a
I'm
lot
looking
to
forward
unpack,
to
and
hearing
that'll be
about that
another
later.
time
That'll
that we
be another
unpack
time and
Have
that
them
space.
for
between
sure.
two teeth a separate time.
Yes,
How about
Yes,
that?
that's right.
exactly. Gabby
Well,
was
we
one of the
appreciate
originals.
you. We appreciate you coming along. You're one of
Thanks,
the
Gabby.
original
Ah,
OG
thanks.
people.
Roller
We're going to
coaster
see you
Gabby
at the
ride.
Pierre
Well, how about
Fichard
this?
this morning.
What inspires me is y'all and your excitement for dentistry.
Aw.
And just about people and dentists, not as just clinicians and scientists, but the whole person. So
Gabby,
you guys are
thank
doing
you.
That
great.
is really nice.
Well,
Keep rocking what you're doing. We're going
we
to
will
see
see
you
you
tonight.
very
Thanks
shortly
again
Y'all
for doing
too.
the
Congratulations
pop in there.
again, Gabby.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much. Steph, we're going to pivot now. What's your biggest regret? There was no real segue
What
to that
in the
one.
world? Okay, so I love the question, and I'm someone.
Do you?
No, I really do, because you cannot learn, you can't not go forward. We got things
We
going
got
on
people
here,
just
and
running
I'm like
away.
squirrel.
Yes.
So we're talking about regret,
Focus.
and I see people's eyeballs are like,
Yes,
oh wow,
regret.
well, yeah, I know.
There we go. There we
What was this? Who am I?
We're
I'm
between
Steffi
two
Steph.
teeth.
We're
This
between
is
two
Steffi
teeth.
Steph.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. We're
We're
podcasters.
podcasters, YouTube. Oh, that's good. Well, check us out.
Check us
YouTube.
out. B2
YouTube.
Teeth. YouTube.
Between two teeth.
Oh man, yeah.
Instagram, B2 teeth.
Thank you.
All right, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yes.
talk about
So-
my biggest
Well,
regret.
I'm gonna ask you because it's okay. So
Get
for-
on.
Okay.
Come on.
So my biggest regret is not connecting with people sooner, and I
Oh.
really got caught up
You're
in.
a great connector, though.
Well, probably because I failed a lot.
Okay.
When you ruin enough relationships in your life between the ages of about 12 and 16, or actually 12, and if I'm being real honest, probably 12 and 25,
Yeah.
you realize the juice is not worth the squeeze. That one's for Bobby.
Yeah.
The juice is not worth the squeeze to do it alone. It's not worth it at all. I'd rather go someplace slower with people around me than go someplace super fast on my own. I don't want to be at the top of the mountain by myself
One of
anymore.
my regrets is I hate going slow. I like to go fast. And when you go fast, a lot of times you miss a good portion of the journey, and that can be a very, very difficult, kind of lonely thing. I try to push sand back into the ocean at times.
So your regret, say that one more time for me.
I try to push sand back in the ocean. I don't take time to let things develop. I try to control and plan the universe at various times, and that can certainly be sort of a tricky thing. What do you need to stop doing?
So can I I'm going to take a minute on control, and this is going to put you out of control. So I hope that's okay to practice your biggest
Not
regret
at all.
right at the same
Not
moment.
at all. I did
And
say
I might
I
be
have to
pushing
work
you
on it.
on this a little bit. But when you say that, that is very true for you. I really do think that's growth on your part to acknowledge that in our journey, self-actualization and self-awareness is the biggest first step, I think, into positive change.
It is, and I think part of our YouTube adventure
Yes.
is to show how we're discovering.
So you're talking about your biggest regret is that you've tried to control your journey, your destination so much.
Yes.
I really appreciate you saying that. That is absolute growth on
And
your
I
part.
think for us, we show things like motorcycle adventures
and I
in
guess-
Italy. We show a lot of good stuff, but we try certainly to balance it out with some of the challenges.
And that's true, and that's
that
where
we
I don't.
have.
I hear you on that. Thank you for that. What's our
Oh,
next
thank
topic
you.
here?
What do you need to stop doing?
Oh man, I need to stop being so hard on myself, so negative. If you guys could crawl inside my head, it's not always the nicest positive place. What comes out is positive. Oh, and I'm seeing Rachel say, hey,
Yeah,
I hear you,
yeah.
thumbs up, Judith too. It is tough, and I think guys, men and women do this to themselves, especially men and women who they want to do something, they want to go somewhere, they've got some concept that just hasn't become this tangible thing, and they beat themselves up if it's not perfect every day. If it's
And
not
we talked a
something
lot
that
about
is
perfection
going
the other
exactly
day on
the
the
way you want.
podcast with some friends.
And this is where people like Brene Brown are highly influential and important for someone like me who happens to fall into a little perfectionist attitude. I have to say, when it's not perfect, it is a dark spot inside my head.
And for me, it's easy to look at that and say, most things in life are not perfect. Part of what I've had people say that they enjoy about our YouTube journey is
Yeah.
that we're showing some imperfections. Audio's not perfect. The guys that are taking care of the audio and video here,
Shout out James and David.
they are awesome. They are perfect.
Yeah.
We're not used to this. We're usually a little bit messy in that process, and that can be tricky.
Absolutely agree.
Okay.
What are you going to stop doing?
I was hoping you were going to
what are
not
you
ask
gonna
me
stop
that
doing?
question.
And I've got an answer for you, but you answer first.
Well, what's your answer? You tell me. Go.
I'm giving you grace and space and time. This is part of not controlling things.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I need to stop actively planning so many things.
That's like on an interview saying, I need to stop being just so awesome. I'm awesome. I need to stop being awesome. Give us
Well,
an authentic. What do you got to stop doing?
That's
Come on, stop. Don't make it like
no.
a positive.
That's what I need to stop doing, and I need to stop making excuses.
I just told you I beat myself up. What do you do?
I don't beat myself up enough.
I know. I know. And so you can actually learn something from you in this. Is
Yes.
that you're really good.
I usually think it's the other person's the problem.
You're really
It
good.
has
Yeah.
served me
You try to
very,
control
very
things.
well.
And
Yes.
I know this is turning into a therapy session.
But so part of it is, I understand that there's going to be some people that are going to pick up what I'm putting down, and others, no, I'm not going to gain traction. I don't mind rejection. I expect rejection. Part of getting back to myself with the push others to blah, blah, blah.
So what do you need to stop doing?
Talking right now.
I'll take it. That works. Next questions, please.
Listen, I'm a work in progress. I
You've
fail
got.
a bunch.
Here's a hard truth for you.
Oh boy, don't like where this is going.
You
Maybe
do
the
so
sound
many
guys, I can
things
just
right,
turn all these down.
and you're on and where you're at on your journey, you've got a lot of stuff figured out. A lot of stuff that I'm nowhere close to figuring out, but that makes it tougher for you to tell honest, authentic, hard truths about yourself because you know yourself very well.
I need to listen better to others. That would serve me well. Am I getting closer?
I think you've been saying that for 3 years. How are you doing?
Terrible. I'm a
you
work
doing
in
on that?
progress. That's fine. I don't like to listen to people.
No, you do not.
Do you like listening to people? She's walking along there.
So I guarantee
Oh, she
you,
says yes. Okay.
every person in my visual eyesight right now but they do a better job of
Because
listening.
they're all women out there. Guys,
Oh.
we don't listen.
Oh,
Women are such better listeners. They are.
I know what you need to stop doing.
We struggle.
I know. There it goes. There's the phone.
There
He just
we go.
got the first
All right.
tomato.
Almost got it thrown at me.
All right. What's our as
Maybe
we're
that's my
we've
excuse.
got 7.5 minutes
All right.
here. Let's kind of
Let's
wrap
talk
this up.
about adventure and fun.
Adventure and fun. I love it. You know why I love fun? Because fun is fun.
Fun is fun.
I think I got
Okay.
it off a movie somewhere.
And
Talk to me about the importance of adventure versus working one more day of the year, getting one more
so
filling.
you and I had to
things
make
like
that decision where we took almost 3 weeks off to go on an adventure
I've never taken 3
to
weeks to do
Italy.
anything.
It was a motorcycle
all. That was
adventure through Italy, and then we did a bunch of other stuff
craziness.
in different countries. We posted that all on the YouTube channel.
I
Between
actually had
Two Teeth.
negative feedback from some colleagues about that.
I did too. I did too.
From colleagues, from referrals about taking that time off,
Yeah.
and I actually started to feel like, man, maybe this is not
And
something
as
I
we
should
talked
be doing.
about, at the end of our working career, we will likely never look back and say we regret doing that.
Yes.
Versus, I'm glad I worked those 2 weeks.
And it really just kind of gets back. So one of the things I did learn when you travel abroad, you get exposed to a lot of different cultures. And one of the things, I don't get out of Dallas, Texas much, so I feel like, I've traveled one time abroad. I'm the expert. All those people in Texas. I am still a Texan. I'm one of us. But what I learned was the way Europeans handle work-life balance is night and day
Totally different. The
from
way they handle
America.
meals.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long
You struggled
process.
with food.
Well, no, I
I
actually
struggled
didn't
with food
struggle
as
at
well.
all with food. I gained about
Like,
16 pounds over
Breakfast,
3
lunch,
weeks
and
in
dinner. They
Italy.
come to the table, well, maybe not breakfast.
Yeah.
They're like red or white wine and meat or fish
And just
or chicken.
lots and lots of food.
And
But
it's
it's a
just all
lengthy
kinds of
process.
food.
It's conversation.
So in Europe, and we happen to spend a lot of our time in Italy, and so in places like Italy, they no matter what kind of job you have, you can work wherever, and it's mandatory 2-week vacations. It is just a different mindset.
Was it 2 or 3?
Well, just at a time.
Okay,
They had
that's
more
right.
weeks in there, which
And
is
it was
crazy.
regulatory environment mandated that.
But they were happy. I
But
think they were
so
very happy.
I needed to adventure
They were very
to
happy people.
figure out how to live my best life. I got to the point where
Living your best
I
life
had
is important.
fear was holding me back in various areas of my life.
You're going to work really hard at something. If you want to work really hard at something in life, I'm figuring out more. It's better to have something that fulfills you versus giving you one more dollar in the bank.
Yeah.
I think after a certain amount of
I thought money
money
would bring me happiness.
Oh, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bring you fulfillment.
Yeah, and it didn't bring me happiness.
It solves problems. I think that you
It
said that.
can solve problems.
It can solve
Yes.
problems.
What are the two most important days in your life?
The day you're born and the day you figure out why. Those
To-
are the two most
To
important
pivot
days.
on the last things, and I'm going to ask you three things. The three things that you have learned in life. If you need,
That's a lot.
Well, it's not that. No.
I just haven't learned that much.
Oh, so zero. I've learned. Well, that's the one thing. The one thing I've learned is I haven't learned that
Okay,
much.
so what's your question? Because we got 4 minutes
so the
as we're
question
wrapping
is,
up
and
here.
I can go first whilst you think about
We're
it
gonna,
if you
if
wish.
we're each doing 3 things we've learned in life, we're
What
gonna
have
go
you
way
learned
over
in
4
life?
minutes.
No. So I'm
We
gonna.
have
I'm
an
gonna.
orange light on.
I'm
That
gonna
means
go.
slow down.
That means no. It means we're getting
Wrap
ready
it up.
to turn things off. So I'll go first if I can.
Okay,
whilst
you go.
think.
Well, you better go. I'm gonna cut you off at 2 minutes. So
Oh.
go.
Okay. More is not better.
Better is better.
Better
That should be a
is
slogan for some Nike commercial.
That is number one.
I love that.
And it impacts things as you're trying to figure out how to communicate with somebody.
I really like that. What's your next one?
Next one is, this is the one I'm working on, listening. Being an active
If you
listener.
write it down, if you dream it,
I
you can do
I
it.
know it's going to
I
happen.
believe
One of
it's
these
gonna
days,
happen one
I'm
of
going to
these
start
days.
to listen.
You know, and I'm messing with you a little bit.
A
You
little
have
bit.
listened a lot. You're more keener on listening. Empathy is not. It doesn't come natural to you, but you are trying.
And I'm
you're really
trying
getting a lot
to
better
pick
at that.
out what is important to this other
Yes.
person and
Yes.
actively listening to try to make
I love,
that
and I
happen.
do think you are making
My
strides.
third one before I pass it off to you is mentorship relationships. We
Ooh.
talked this morning
Yeah.
with Dr. Skinner about that as far as
You-
mentoring. We're used to mentoring down, older to younger.
Yes, and you like
but
that.
the younger to older
I-
is probably the most important type of
I was really
mentorship.
proud of you today when you
Oh,
were
thank
speaking
you.
at the ASDA caucus.
Oh, thank you. That was an
And
honor. I was ASDA president
can I-
back in
can I finish?
1999. I don't know
You
if I
wanna-
told
you
you.
wanna
No.
listen?
Oh, yes.
I'm
listening
bragging
now.
on you. One of the coolest things about you is you will knock on the door where others are too scared to knock. And part of what we learned just by kind of visiting or on our adventure in Italy and Germany and whatnot is that you are responsible in life for knocking on the door. If someone opens that door, that is on them. If they don't open that door, that is on them. But you knocked. And with the ASDA caucus and students, you knew that you had something valuable for them. And you knew that when you're playing into mentorship and a mentorship role, and you know you're on their side with a lot of things here, and you know the value add you can provide, you knocked on the door, you knew your worth, and you were able to get a seat at the table.
And I have gotten so much from interacting with ASDA leaders in the past 5 years.
I love it.
It helps me.
So
All right,
we're under
on to
2
you.
minutes. What was the question? What was the original question?
The one you've been
I don't
you're
even
supposed
know.
to. Oh, you're
Or
a great listener,
I'm
dear.
a
Maybe you can
terrible
help
listener,
me with
and I've
my
got the
listening.
memory of a small
she
squirrel.
looks like she's
I gotta
listening
write everything
all
down.
the time. But so, what have you learned in life?
What have
Three
I learned
things.
in life? Man, life's a whole heck of a long time, and I can't remember all the lessons, but I can tell you what I've learned today. The 3 things I've learned today is do not let others decide kind of how you are going to go about your entire day. And what that means is understanding yourself, understanding what triggers you, and if you start the day in a poopy mood, we call it a poopy mood to be a little nicer, you can turn that frown upside down literally and get beyond that. Second thing I've learned today is that it's never too late to start over in a relationship that has gone sour.
Ooh.
And a lot of that was from the work with Bob over here, and I'm blanking on it. Is it Kumar? And is
Not
it
at all.
Kulan?
Oh, it is. Oh.
It is it Kulan. I'm not sure. He does the behavioral sciences. That was phenomenal, and I think
It's never too late to start over.
it's never too late to start a relationship over with anybody,
Okay.
especially something that has gone sour. And I think the third thing I've learned today is, or even this week, is the power of gratitude and understanding, recognizing other people's genius. I went around my first Gosh, I'm 32 right now. I went around my first 30 years of life trying to figure out how to make myself look really good. And man, I got to tell you, that is not where it's at. Understanding where other people's geniuses lie, because Bob was telling us this today. If I am focused on having your back and you're focused on having my back, we all do a lot better. And
Yeah.
that's what I've learned this week.
And that's what I've loved as we close off, ADA annual session at SmileCon.
SmileCon 2022.
That's right. And we're going to
Also,
see people in
we're getting
Orlando
red
next
here.
year.
We're getting a red light. We are going to stop.
But we will stop. But, we've
Quickly.
had, on your point, we've had so many leaders.
Yes.
And it's been leaders at ADA trustee level. We've had ADA members. We've had ADA staff members. Everybody is part of the team. We had Dr. Shepley on
and
here
can I know
that
we're
talked about
I know
the
we're
dental
I know
fair.
we're closing it down, and I'm going to have you listen here for just a second.
Oh, I'll try.
And
See how well I
practice
do.
that. I have to give a special shout out to Dr. George Shepley. I've been thoroughly impressed with him, and this sounds like I'm pandering.
It
and
does sound like pandering.
whatever. If it sounds like I'm pandering,
Yeah.
so be it. I am very impressed with him today because of the people he has introduced me to, and these are not big wigs at the conference. The people he's introduced me to that I have never met, that are kind of that are dentists in the community. It's the personalities. They are amazing people.
He's a
and I
connector.
told George Shepley this. I said, "You're really good." Hold on, there's an
They're
announcement.
literally shutting us down.
And
Yes.
Oh, we're gone. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody here at the podcast booth. Are we going? Did Kate give us the? Did Kate give? She gave us the signal. Do we have?
Yeah.
This red light's blinking at
You're
us.
fine. You were talking
Keep
about
going.
Dr. Shepley
Oh.
connecting things together.
Dr. Shepley is a great judge of character, and the people that he has kind of shifted our way, and these aren't necessarily trustees and people that with a lot of power. These are genuinely
Yeah.
good people, and dentists are quirky individuals,
And
by the way.
And he treated us like gold.
Oh man!
And
no,
we're
he
this
treated
little
us like
small,
family.
timey. He did.
He
treat
was
us
showing
like
us
family.
pictures on his
We're
phone.
small time.
He gave us way too much time for someone as important as he is.
He did.
and
he
I love
did.
it.
Well, on that note, Steph, I appreciate what you add to this conversation.
Oh, wow!
I was able to
Thank
listen.
you.
I was a listen.
Thank
I'm an
you.
active listener now.
You're a reformed listener.
We are all on an adventure.
Yeah.
We are all on a journey in this thing called life. We do better when we connect with others. We do better when we have some vulnerability and share our stories. And that's what we're going to try to continue to do on our YouTube channel, Between Two Teeth.
Thank you guys. This has
Follow
been a
us on
special
YouTube.
live
Follow us on
edition
Instagram.
of
We
Between
are
Two Teeth,
B
and
number 2 teeth on
We are
Instagram.
so grateful for
Thank
our
you so
audience.
much.
Thank you guys,
Thank you guys.
so much. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
Thank
yeah.
you.
Aw.